Hey man, I gotta tell him something.
This is JP Banks.
Fuck around and make me relapse. Whoa, whoa. Got me tripping on my mind. Fuck around and make me relapse. Whoa, whoa. Got me tripping on my mind. Fuck around and make me relapse.
Yang gang.
Got me tripping on my mind. Fuck around and make me relapse.
Fucked up, bro. Y'all niggas sound like bitches when I slid to your house. You already know what the business. Let me show what it is when I come through, man. Smooth and genuine, this bitch who turn to the yank name. Come through the bitch, you know how to yank gang. Niggas stomp through this motherfucker on everything. Who these niggas, bro, wanna talk that speedy?
Welcome, fight fans, to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk Authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Sounds good to me, man. And we are live, guys. Welcome. As you can see, it is just me tonight. Rich is taking care of some prior obligations tonight, so you guys are going to get stuck with just me running tonight's show. So we'll make it as fun as we can, guys. As always, remember, you are watching The Fighter's Voice. Everybody has a voice, including you guys. So remember, chime in, comments, pages, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, guys. YouTube, follow us, check it out, know what we're going to do, know what we're going to do next. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up in the works. Rich has been working on some side projects, things we want to do. But other than that, let's just kind of let's get going with things that have already been started off. Things that have come up in the news lately. I know the UFC has always been, well, Dana White particularly, has always been what's the word, judgmental, I guess, of Oscar De La Hoya kind of jumping into MMA. I know he made a big old rant saying, like, it got pretty heated. They went back and forth on each other for a while as far as, like, why boxing should be dipping in, why somebody like Oscar should be getting in. So now, as is, like, it's like Dana White 101. He says something's not going to happen, and then boom, it happens, for little guys, women's MMA, all this stuff. So he said that, without the boxing, but now they announced that by the end, I'd say the later half of 2019 is when they're saying that they're going to kind of dip their feet into boxing. He cited some of the things like being helpful in the Mayweather Conor fight that got put together. They kind of wanted to do some of that, and he said that they were a part of that, which you could imagine they would. Meaning that Conor was such a high fighter for them at the time that they'd want to be part of that negotiation term. So, having done that, they kind of like said, "Oh, okay, well, we've seen kind of the business side of it too." So he says that by the end of 2019, they'll have, like, UFC will be doing boxing and at some format, some level. I imagine it's got something to do with the whole ESPN Plus thing. They probably feel they can hit a wider spectrum of viewers now. So you got to kind of expect that. Realistically, Zuffa's like not done with the UFC, but they did sell it. Remember, they sold it to another organization. So there's like a different direction that they want to take it. So I imagine boxing might have something to do with that direction they want to take it. Some of the format they want it to run in. It won't just be like traditional boxing. I think it'll have more WWF type aspects to it. It won't just be straight boxing. So you'll see more storyline driven events, more storyline driven fights and scenarios and stories and things like that down the road. So look for that. So in the later half of 2019, Dana White says UFC will be in the boxing. So that's something to look forward to. I don't know if it's a negative thing or a positive thing, but it's definitely something that we're going to be looking forward to as far as that goes. So, but on the same boxing thing, since we're already talking about that, Conor took up I guess you want to call it like an exhibition boxing match in, I was Dublin or something like that, but it was an exhibition when they were having a card that was raising funds for something. I didn't really get too into the specifics of what they were raising funds for, but there was a video. The only reason it popped up on my radar on it was because the guy that he fought, he said that Conor like sucker punched him during the fight. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll check this out. So I look at it, and it's I mean, it's not really a sucker punch, you know, once they say go, go. But it was one of those, like, you know, where, like, they go out to touch hands and the guy, like, touches hands in and, like, throws a fist at you kind of thing. It was, like, one of those. Like, he just came with a big old overhand left. So I didn't really bother watching the fight. It's just boxing. I don't know if Conor even won or lost it, but it was an exhibition fight. I think it was only, like, 5 rounds or something. But he was his name wasn't even on the card. It was listed as, like, a something, like a anyone or a another. That's something. I was like, yeah, it was, first initial was A, and then the name was like another, and it was like one of the few bouts later on the card. So they didn't even want, like, notoriety or maybe they just didn't want attention. I don't know. Could have just been an exchange of words. Could have been something that Conor's been wanting to do for a while. They've been wanting to do for a while, both of these guys, and they're just like, yeah, we can. Why don't we just make an exhibition out of it on some card? So there's lots of reasons, but I think the real reason is just Conor's just trying to stay, like, I guess, semi-active in boxing to an extent, even if it's an exhibition match that nobody knows about. So, I mean, if he loses, not really going to matter. It's a boxing match. But B, if he wins, or at the very least does well, it'll give him some clout and some direction, at least for boxing, and at least some ground to stand on that he actually knows what he's doing with boxing. It wasn't just that whole Mayweather thing wasn't just like a one-off, which I think it was supposed to be anyway. So we'll see. But like I said, the only reason it even popped up is because the guy he fought said that Conor, like, sucker punched him. So hands up, I guess. I don't know. That's one of those old age things. So, but kind of getting past boxing and stuff, and, like, it's just, like I said, it's got to do with the ESPN Plus deal. UFC's seen a door open, and they're going to go through it. And we'll find out in, like, what is it? It's almost May, so I'd say around, like, August, September, you'll probably see an announcement for, like, one of the first, like, UFC promoted either, like, cards or, like, actual boxing matches. That'd probably be about where you're going to find your target zone in the year. So, but you got Poirier being bothered. Dustin, they've been bothering people about that, but saying, hey, when are you going to fight Khabib? When are you going to do this? He's eager. Like, he wants to, and his words, like, maul Khabib. Like, he just wants to run him over. So I imagine after the Holloway fight, I don't really know. It's weird. A lot of people, me included, were picking Max to win that fight. Even though, like, people are like, well, you know, Darren beat him once before. And I was like, yeah, I think that was at 155 though. And this one was at 155. And I was just like, He's a better fighter than he was then. That's how I kind of looked at it. And I was really sure that his striking was on point, especially after what we saw him do to Ortega. Like, he just, at one point, just picked his shots at will. Like, it was just random, like laser shots. So when he picked apart Bryan, who had just finished off Cub Swanson and then knocked out Frankie Edgar, I think everybody was kind of putting a lot of stock in Ortega. So when you got that much stock in a guy, and then Holloway comes in and just dots him up, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, well, maybe Ortega wasn't that good, or maybe Holloway's just much better now. And so everybody knew how dangerous Ortega is. So I think everybody just kind of erred on the side of, well, then maybe Holloway's striking has just gotten better than what we saw prior, like years ago when they fought. So I was on the same page of, well, Holloway should win. His striking seems adequately better. It seems more accurate. Reach played a huge factor. I mean, the dude's got arms like Gumby. I mean, they're just stretch them out. So I picked Holloway. It didn't go that way. That was just 5 rounds, well, more like 3 rounds of Holloway just kind of getting picked apart. So it's just one of those things where one guy just has your number. Some guys are just have your number in fighting sometimes, and there's just nothing you're going to be able to do to avoid them or to get around them. And just every time you fight them, they just one fucking notch to just stop you there. That's how it is. That's why you get like guys that like fight each other 3-4 times in a row at the top end, where everybody looks and goes, well, they already fought each other. It's no one's that excited. And well, yeah, you know, sometimes there's other fighters they can bring into it, but for these particular moments, it's just like, well, that's just who it is. They happen to be that good. So you get a lot of like thirds and second and third repeat fights and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I thought Holloway was going to win. He didn't. He got tooled up for like 3 rounds. You could arguably say that after I mean, I guess after, Darren got tired of just like teeing off on him, I guess he just kind of said, "No, that's enough of that." So, but I'd give him Khabib. I think with given his stance and his size at 155, I think he'd be a pretty good problem for Khabib. I think he'd give him a lot of trouble. I think his strength, Khabib's really strong, like super strong. So I think he'd be a good match on him. Khabib would, obviously trade with him, and then he'd probably try to test his wrestling out against him. I think Khabib's wrestling would probably be more, I don't want to say adequate, but I think be more aggressive and more MMA oriented than I think Taylor's is more like maybe still collegiate version for that kind of thing. So, but I'd like to see Holloway and Khabib fight, to be honest. But I'd really like to see Khabib and Darren fight. So, but or not Darren Till, Dustin Poirier. I'm sorry, I'm sound Miller this whole time. I was thinking about him next. No, Dustin Poirier. So, I could see Dustin keeping the belt at 155 and actually doing well. I really want to see that fight with Khabib, but I don't know. I'd like to see Poirier fight Cerrone, maybe, if Cerrone's bored, I guess. He was supposed to fight Conor at one point, and that fight totally just either was just smoke to begin with, or it's just, it's fizzled to the wayside anyway. So Max is going to take some time off and then come back. He'll probably be in like the top 2 or 3, but Poirier, I could not easily see, but I could see him beating Khabib. He'd probably spend the first 2 or 3 rounds maybe doing the same thing he did with Holloway, staying on his feet and just everything isn't reach, but it's just right there. He just catches you right at the tail end. So I don't know. And then depends on how long Khabib's off. Like, he's going to be on shelf for like 6 months, something like that. It's like 6 months forever. He's going to be on the shelf. That's his part of his retroactive punishment from that whole post-fight brawl that they got into in the cage and in the crowd and everything. So we'll see with that, but he wants to maul him as his term, and I realistically think he could. I think he's going to be taller than Khabib. I think Poirier would probably be taller than him. So there's that, and then there's that's what I was thinking about. Darren is he got he got arrested on vacation. How many people have gotten arrested on vacation? Like, how do you do that? It's like it's like getting fired on your day off. It's like, how do you do that? It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, I guess for fighters it does. He was apparently stole a taxi cab and they vandalized like their hotel room. Like, I guess when you want to party, you party. I guess when you're Darren Till, you just do whatever the fuck you want. I guess they've had other guys in the past that have done that. They had I can't remember his name. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. It was one of the earlier seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. They were talking about a limo. Yeah, a limo took them to the strip, and one of the guys like kicked or punched the window out of the limo, caused a big old scene in the casino. He hollering about how he's in the UFC and this and that, and they were just like, okay, you got to go. He caused a big old scene. I think Dana even booted him off the show for that. There was just early days of The Ultimate Fighter, that shit was just weird. Like, there was a guy that got kicked out for, what did he go back for? I think it was during the Jens Pulver, BJ Penn season. They went off, that's what they did. They went to a local, like, pool to go swim laps or something. This is weird. They went to go swim laps, and the dude met, like, a lifeguard, and then either brought the lifeguard back later that night to the house or left the house to go meet the lifeguard. I can't remember which it was. Somebody, you have to just Google that real quick and just let me know which one of those it was. But and he gets busted for it. I think he left and then got caught coming back or something, because you're not supposed to leave. So he got booted out of the house for trying to go and like pick up on a lifeguard. I was like, come on, dude, you blow that whole contract just for that? That was ridiculous. So Tillman, Darren doing this isn't Darren doing that's not that bad. It's of the worst things you could be doing. I mean, you've got guys like Jones that are getting caught with like popped for drugs. They're getting in DUIs. What else did he do? Oh, the car wreck where that lady broke her arm or something like that. As a pregnant lady was in it. So you've got worse. People could be doing a lot worse. There's weird stuff going on. So, dude, speaking of worse, okay. You remember the hitchhiker with the axe, the hatchet? Remember that guy?
Convicted.
Yeah. So they picked that dude up for supposedly like a murder that happened a year after that shit that happened here. If you don't know Fresno by now, you're lucky. Consider yourself lucky. But so yeah, I saw that today, and I was like, "Why is that sticking in my head?" And it was because he's from though. He had longer hair then.
Yep. He got his hair cut short.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. So he tried to say that what was it? That it was self-defense. And then later, when they went back, they were like, "Wow, there's inconsistencies in your story, and the victim's wounds aren't really consistent with you being the defensive one, and all this stuff." So then, when you look at it, it's like, I wonder what really happened with him when he was in Fresno. Is it one of those did something things and was like, I kind of got away with that? Like, I don't know, like when you cheat on your wife or something and you don't get caught. Think about that.
You got caught.
You're gonna get caught. But I bet you it was one of those scenarios because it was a year after. So he left Fresno and went back east. So I'm telling you, dude, it was one of those scenarios where it's like, I got away with it once and the whole self-defense story worked. I wonder if I could get away with it again. Or it was just blind arrogance because he did get away with it.
He was known as Kai the Hitchhiker.
Yeah, Kai the Hitchhiker, yeah. That dude was fucking bizarre, man. His
interview was funny.
His interview was funny, and that's why he ended up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I really think that that's going to turn out to be a scenario of, like, he's just going to admit at one point. He'd be like, yeah, it wasn't really self-defense, because that whole story never really made sense. But to hear him use the self-defense story again, and for it to not be that time, it makes way more sense for his first one, so...
Yeah, this is how he's found in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It was out in New Jersey.
It was in New Jersey. Yeah, I remember. I can't remember. I don't know why I got on that topic, but it was because Fresno was in the news. Yeah. That was why, because they were talking about when he was here. So, but speaking of in the news, what happened this weekend? UFC Fight Night. That happened this weekend over on ESPN Plus.
Yes.
We had some of that going on. Horse meat fight. Over him. I call him horse meat.
There was something going on as well too, or getting banned. Some girls, some women's.
Getting banned?
Getting banned from using just like what's his name, TJ Dillashaw. A couple of I saw some of the girls are being
from that card.
None of the card, but they got busted for using, and so they're on probation.
Oh, they're on probation. Oh man, no, I didn't see anything like that.
I saw something.
That's interesting. No, the only thing I saw was Overeem and Rockhold. Rockhold thinking, I don't know what the deal was with Rockhold. But now they got popped for something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ex-UFC champ Nico Montano. She got USADA suspension.
Yeah.
Again, why? Like, why suspensions? Like, it just... And here's the thing too, I know, like, when you get popped and you're going to get a suspension, the UFC is going to chime in and be like, okay, here's the deal, we probably weren't going to use you for like 3 months anyway, so what you do is you just start your suspension now and we'll use you in 6 months. It's just, there's so many fighters and they have such a wide roster, especially with the ESPN Plus deal now. They're probably going to go the way of DAZN, and they're going to be like, look, we need content. Give us fights. We need content for the show, for the distributor, for the streaming, for the library, for all this shit. So what's the UFC's answer is, sure, we'll have a fight like every fucking weekend. And if you look at their first bracket of schedules, and it's kind of like that. So it's not that it's a bad thing. It's, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing. It's a lot of content, but the problem you have with a lot of content is you get that shit like with Lomachenko and Canelo. Now, granted, Canelo's next fight coming up is supposed to be good. It's supposed to be an actual fight. Like, this is like almost like a ranked fight. But you get the Lomachenko 4-rounder, and it's like, you're going to see a lot more of that. I think you're going to see a lot more of that with the ESPN Plus deal, because they're going to have to... Not I don't want to say dilute, because they're not going to go out of their way to have shitty fights, but what's going to happen is you're going to have such a wide roster of guys, or you're going to have such a, because they did do a roster trimming over the last couple of years. Like, they cut a bunch of dudes loose, guys that were like, people were like, oh, well, what the fuck did you cut him loose for? Like, that guy won his last 3 fights. They're just not marketable. They're just not exciting. Biggest thing UFC always pushed was, you can lose fights, but you have to be exciting. So if you're boring, I guess. But the problem they did now is what they ran into, where they have a shorter roster.
So you're talking also about the cutting of the featherweight, whatever it is, where you could
The flyweight? Yeah.
flyweight, and then Suda came back and it's like, okay, it exists now. It exists back again.
Dude, I swear to God, their whole plans just went.
Yeah, because after Mighty Mouse left, it's like, oh, we don't have anybody else. But then what happened?
Well, that was one of the catalysts I feel that they were going to let Mighty Mouse go for anyway, which is why they didn't really fight it. Because UFC could have came back and said, look, no, we'll match whatever one was offering you. We'll match it. And they could have done that. And they said, nah, we're good. Go ahead, go over there. So they already knew they were ditching that department. Like, they already knew that organization was gone. And then they were like, yeah, so we'll have TJ and Henry fight, and TJ will beat Henry, and we'll get rid of the flyweight division. And nope, fuck that all up. So
He drops all the way down, and then he gets popped.
yeah, so
And
okay,
then
so
2 year
that
suspension.
yeah, it's a 2-year
2 year?
suspension. It's
Yeah.
2 years now. That's what it came out as, 2 years. First, he just accepted the year, and now it's an actual 2 years gone.
But something was going on. They were saying it was just on him. He's also blaming his coach, the alpha guy.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Your coach knew it. Your coach knew it.
Well, here's the thing: if your coach knew it, then they're just as liable. But if the coach didn't know, then the coach is just in denial. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have a UFC level champion in a sport like ours, where you need to be with them all the time, training them correctly, to not know. I mean, I guess he could keep it a secret, but him and his now, granted, a lot of people were trying to point the finger at Dwayne Ludwig and stuff and say, well, I don't even know if Dwayne was in this camp during that. I don't even know if Dwayne's even around anymore, or what the status is on that. I don't even know what that is. So to say his coach, would you just say which coach it was at the time for that camp? That's the only way to know. And even then, I guess you could keep it secret. But 2 years is a long time. So plus you've got Cejudo, who beat TJ. If TJ's out and Cejudo just beat TJ, does that make Cejudo like the interim champion at 135? Like, there's a storyline there that they could do to where Cejudo could actually breathe some marketing life, like, into the organization at that point, because you can have him be a champ, a dual weight champ at the small weights, like Conor did it. Just go down a couple weights, and you've got a guy that's got 2 belts. That's twice as many title defenses.
Well, I'm looking here. It says UFC 238. Cejudo is going to be against Morales.
Morales?
Is that Morales? And then I think that's the next big fight.
Does it say what?
June 8th.
Does it say it flyweight or it's bantam?
Title fights. They didn't say flyweight, nothing. Just title fights.
That's got to be at 125. So what they're probably doing is, when Cejudo won and kept the belt, because they're thinking TJ would just take the belt and have dual belts, and they would just dissolve it. But when he beats him, the UFC had to go, well, hold on now, okay, maybe we can use Henry to to bring some excitement in, because it's not that Mighty Mouse was boring. Don't get me wrong. It's just that there wasn't anybody. I don't think there was anybody really that could pull the outside ring type, branding that they wanted from him. They're like, dude, you're like the quietest title holder we have. And he's just like, it's whatever. I just fight. So
what do you think about the Bellator fight coming up? The Finch against McDonald?
I was seeing that. I was interested. I honestly didn't know John Finch was still fighting. I will be 100% humbled about that lack of knowledge on that. Like, I didn't know he was still fighting. I like McDonald in that one. To be honest, Rory is way taller, got a lot more reach. I think he's a more aggressive striker. Him being tall, though, is going to definitely work to Fitch's advantage, just for the simple fact that he's going to be a lot taller and his legs are going to be out there, and it's going to be a bigger opportunity for him to shoot in and get a good grip on him without taking too much damage, because he'll have so much. When you're tall, you've got to take so much longer to sprawl out. It just takes longer because your legs are longer. It's just fucking physics. So when you fight a taller guy, you really got to get him to bait upstairs. So you're probably going to see like a lot of like single jabs with like big looping overhand rights or lefts. I can't remember if Fitch is left or right-handed.
Fitch, I think he's a righty.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of those probably finished off with like knee picks or ankle picks or something, because Tillman will either try to back out or try to circle to the side or something.
Yeah, and the other card is the female card too. She's from Hawaii. I mean, it's from my home.
Yeah, I saw that too. They're not really like I said, the UFC will give you as much self-marketing power as you want. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, you see a lot of fighters that you're just like, well, you know, they're not popular because the UFC doesn't promote them as much. And it's like, well, they're giving you all the tools. Like,
yeah, but you also got the ESPN guys now because he's on ESPN. If they're flooding it, like you were talk back.
yeah.
They're not promoting anymore. Like, you have the fighters got to promote themselves to get to
Exactly.
the fight.
So, like I said, once the UFC changed hands, marketing and branding infrastructures changed too, because you got to remember the company that owns it now they deal with like entertainment talent on a more regular basis. It's either basketball players or guys like Mark Wahlberg. Like, it's an entertainment company. They handle entertainment and entertainment athletes. Like, other sports players get it. They know it's entertainment, things like that. So, but I think it's just a matter of if he markets himself correctly, which I think in Japan, I think Mighty Mouse will have a really good pick with that, because he'll probably Mighty Mouse will probably have his own fucking cartoon before it's all said and done over there. And they will literally, if he wants, they will put him in a cartoon, just because that's how they are. Remember when they put Mark Coleman in that giant banana suit?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys remember that? It was just a giant fucking banana suit. And it was a legit, this was a real commercial. This was like, they were really advertising bananas. He was like the banana king or something. And it had a whole banana suit, and he was riding it. And they've got some of the fighters have commercials overseas that people haven't seen that are just fucking bizarre. Mark Coleman's got them. Quentin Rampage has them. Vanderlei Silva's got some of the weirder ones. What else? Genki Sudo's been in some over there. What's his name? Aoki. Like, they're just real quiet guys, but they take advantage of the marketing over there. Like, they'll be in commercials and stuff, and there's a lot of money over there for American fighters that are like named to get involved in like commercialization and things like that over there. So I don't like it, but everything's different.
There's a lot of talk in the MMA. You know, you got the Combate fight this week, the 26th.
Yeah, down in LA Garden.
But here's the funny thing is, I see meet Tito Ortiz on the 25th. You think they're trying to get him on the Combate?
Who, Combate America is trying to pull him in their...
Yeah, there's a promotion at Plaza Mexico where they're bringing Tito Ortiz as, come meet Tito Ortiz. Do you think so? You think there's a marketing...
I would need to know what his contract is with Golden Boy still, or if that was just a one. Remember how they were supposed to have like a Dan Henderson fight or something?
It seems that one thing.
I think that whole organization's fucking done. I think De La Hoya looked at the numbers and thought, I lost how much fucking money on that thing?
Yeah,
Never mind. So. We're done. Yeah. Let's focus on boxing. Never mind. So I think he did it just to say he did it. And I think he thought there'd be more money in it than there was. There was only like, what, a quarter...
Yeah, they lost.
Quarter of 100,000, like.
But I'm
like
looking right now. I'm watching. They have a poster of him meet Tito Ortiz on the 25th. The 26th is the fight. There's a marketing strategy.
He did. I think didn't he fight with Bellator as well? He fought for Oscar. I could have swore he fought for Bellator, but anyway.
He did. I think he left.
I think he did. I think he fought for Bellator. So he's just probably at that stage where he's like, well, if another organization wants to throw fucking money at me, you know, I don't think he's going to say no. And then at that point, he'd probably be on the top of the food chain with that organization as far as opponents. The problem is, man, he'd be pricey. Even just to have him on a fight would be pricey, because you'd have to pay him, and then you'd have to get another named guy to fight him. You can get like a Frank Mir or a Quentin.
What's like one of the guys we met, the big fighter? He's training to get back to the heavy. You talking about? You interview him at the
the pretty boy guy.
Tall big guy in a white suit.
That would make sense.
Because he's training. Maybe that is
that would make sense, because he's one of their faces, and they've been trying to push him, because they pushed him at the Fresno when they were like, hey, you're training for a fight. You know, it's almost like they didn't want to say anything, but like they kind of already had things going. Yeah. So I think it's possible. I mean, if they're going to have him there for a meet and greet, that's not cheap. So why are you doing it? You're not just having a Tito Ortiz show up for a meet and greet to promote the fight. That doesn't make any sense.
We've got to get somebody that we know, somebody, see what's going on.
You know what's funny is I could probably shoot Mike a question about that and ask him Tito Ortiz meet and greet, and we'll see what he says. Say meet and greet.
Yes, they're putting him in a big poster. They're making that already.
I'll just send it. I'll just send a question to Mike right now and be like, "Hey, Tito Ortiz meet and greet ? Are you guys courting him? Yeah, are you guys courting him?" I'll just be very blunt. Just like, "You guys courting him?" He'll be all, "Maybe." If I don't get back like a deliberate no, then yeah, I mean it's kind of given at that point. Why would you pay so much money to have a meet and greet?
It's the same thing when they did for the one when these guys were doing the LA, the stuff where the guys they're trying to push the American market.
Yeah, they really wanted to dip into the American market. They have to dip into the American market. Japanese MMA on its own, and Nam the fan can chime in on this. Ryan Graham, I'm sure you've got your opinions too. Japanese MMA isn't dead. It was dying a while ago. Like, it was actually dying. But it's kind of got breathed some life back into it, and people have kind of started to show their attention to it. Like, I have fans people I didn't even know that watched MMA were hitting me up going, "Dude, are you going to watch that card at like 1 a.m? And I'm like, I wasn't going to, because I got to be up at like 7 a.m, but what do you think about that? Because in the back of my head, I'm like, well, that's interesting that you're asking about it. Like, what's your thoughts on it? So I'll get other people's opinion. I got a couple of guys that play poker at my casino regularly, and they'll watch those. And these are like older guys, like 50s, like 50s, almost 60s.
I've been keeping track of the one because it's growing out that Asian market.
It's
besides just not the MMA, but also doing like Muay Thai and kickboxing.
The Muay Thai and the kickboxing.
And bringing these legendary Muay Thai guys in to do the fights.
The in between fights and stuff. Yeah, having kickboxing fights. Well, you're going to have to crossbreed, because you're going to have to get your kickboxing fans over there involved in that just to watch it and stuff. But it's not that one. So a lot of people look at Japanese MMA and they think, oh, this is a new organization. It's always kind of been there. It's just been named different things. You had Pride. I mean, you've had stuff before Pride. Like you had Shudo, things like that. And then Pride came along, and Pride Bushido. And then you had Risen's been out there. Risen got kind of quiet. They were kind of building up some steam, and then they kind of quieted down. What else have you had? You've got the One. They're now One Championship. But they've all kind of just been the same thing. Like, you've never really had them at the same time. Like, you don't have One and Risen. You don't see guys cross-fighting on those cards. You don't see guys cross-fighting each other on those cards. I just think that it's not necessarily that the interest in Japanese MMA is really that low. I think that potentially what they feel are marketable fight roster size. Does that make sense? Like, they don't feel they have a lot of guys that are really exciting and marketable. Like, they only have a couple, so they really just focus on those guys. And if you notice, like guys like Shinya Aoki, like, they have fought for all these organizations in Japan, and he's high on the food chain. So
I know on the one, the heavyweight fight, it's a guy they call the Python. It's going to be against, what's his name? He used to be a UFC fighter, Filipino guy. But he also is a movie star now. He's an actor now. I forgot his name, but they just agree to fight.
Well, that's probably that's your marketing, your ability to. They're really huge on promotion and entertainment and marketing of it over there. Like, you'll see a lot of guys over there that, like I said, you saw the Quentin Jacksons, of Vanderlei Silvas, your Frank Triggs, everybody that's been a named fighter, Josh Barnett. And Matt Hume probably at one point. Like, all those guys back then, they were all really pushed into the commercial marketing era for that, because they really wanted to capitalize on it. So anybody that's kind of doing that stuff, like if he's involved with a movie, provided he wins, over there it's a little weird. Like, if you lose, it's weird over there, because they spend so much money to bring you over, but it's almost like they hope you lose. Like, the old days, it was like they would pay you well, but they wanted to make sure that you had enough of a name that when you lost, people would be like, oh, he did so good. Like, it was just, he just wowed everybody. But the reality is, it's
Brandon Vera.
Bro, Brandon Vera, he got big. Yeah, fuck, he got big, dude. Yeah. He looks like the dude that swallowed Brandon Vera. Like, I saw him the other day. I thought he got stung by a fucking bee. Like, he was swelled up.
Yeah, he's the heavyweight. He's fighting this guy who's known as the Burmese Python.
Yeah.
they agreed to fight. That's like.
And Brandon was doing. That's right. Brandon did action movie.
He's an action movie star in the Philippines, man.
That's right.
Very big market.
That's where you're going to get your crossover. That's why you're going to get that crossover market. They're like, dude, it's perfect fucking timing. Like, we'll promote you. You'll have a big fight. We can promote your movie. There's all kinds of pluses there.
Because it's also with the one. There's a lot of the Filipino champions. With the one.
So you're gonna have a lot of those viewers. You're gonna have the Philippine market come over and watch that, or buy it, subscribe, or whatever it is over there. But yeah, dude, he got big. Like I don't know if that's just high protein or super horse meat maybe or something. But I mean, plus you got to figure, like with Brazil, you don't have a lot of USADA sanctions and guidelines. I mean, it's just like you should fucking shoot up ringside if you want, I guess. And in some of these fights, where like I would imagine, like if they fought in the Philippines, is it going to be in Japan, that one fight that he's fighting on? I saw something about that because I saw a picture where he was all fucking jacked.
It's the marketing. It doesn't matter. They love both of those guys.
No, yeah,
like the stars of one.
And that's probably going to be a big money for them. So, but like I said, it's not that Japanese MMA just kind of comes and goes and it dies. I think it's just that one organization never really lasts too long because they don't get an influx enough of good named talent fighters, because all your really, really good out-of-country named talent fighters are already locked up by your Bellators, your UFCs, even Invicta's snatched up a lot of the good female global talent. So you got to remember that it's just, I think their rosters are just so small that they can only focus on so many guys for so long before people are like, hey, okay, you know what I mean? It's just like they want them to win, but they want them to be challenged, and it's hard when your rosters aren't as expansive as you want. And that's why I say you bring in a guy like Mighty Mouse, he's going to bring an entirely new like system of excitement and dynamic of fighting, and because you don't get guys that fight like Demetrius out there. Like, you get him every once in a while, and even when they do, that's only like for maybe that fight. But Demetrius is just the same. He's just explosive. He's exciting. He's talented. I just think
like a lot of guys that came from the UFC, like Honeycutt, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kid,
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, the pretty boy.
Yeah, the Badger, the Honey Badger.
It's a different guy. What's the guy? The pretty guy.
Sage Northcutt. Yeah, they sent him over there too. And I don't know if did he fight? I can't remember if he fought and lost.
Scheduling, but
they really like him over there, and he'll do good. I mean, again, provided he wins, he'll do good, because you have to do good if you're gonna like use their money to promote yourself over there. It doesn't really show anything coming up for him. That's unfortunate.
I'm watching it. I'm not seeing it.
But I know he was part of that organization, because the UFC, his wasn't really a trade. They just kind of cut him loose, I think. And then one was just like, hey, you can come fight for us if you want. We're down. Like, come fight for us. So I think that was it. The Demetrius thing was, who did we get for Demetrius? We got somebody. Askren. We got Askren. Yeah, we got Mop Top.
And he beat, what's his name? Lawler.
He choked the shit out of Lawler. He tried to take that fucker's head home with him, dude.
It's a wrestler. Come on.
Yeah. So, and that's right, because that was that whole controversy of did he tap, did he not?
Yeah.
He went limp. Like, I could see, and Militich's camp before has been known, like I said, for doing those moves. So that was the whole thing. But that's who we got. We got Askren for that. I'd honestly, everyone was chiming in for a rematch on that. I'd like to see Askren fight somebody else first, somebody else in the pool, and then if they want to rematch him with Lawler again, then yeah, then I can get behind that. But an immediate rematch, it's like, well, dude, you could say I got lucky. You know, if I were asking, I'd be like, you could say I got lucky. You could say I didn't. I could try to say that I did it on purpose. It's just, I got lucky that the opportunity presented itself, and I snatched his fucking neck up and took it home. Like, that's how you could word it, because it was kind of a lucky catch. He was kind of getting whomped on. So, but at the same time, you got to say, look, give me another opponent. Let me fight somebody else in your organization. I need to let me beat somebody else because they all want to say the same thing. Well, you can't beat anybody else. You have to fight Lawler again. It's like, well, why? I already beat him. Give me somebody else. And then if they beat him, well, then everybody might have been right about the whole Lawler thing. Like, well, you kind of got lucky if he gets his ass kicked. So would it be a really weird fight? You know what would be really weird? Would be seeing Askren fight, what was that fucking wrestler's name? CM Punk. That would be
It would be embarrassing to see him Punk.
But you'd have the makings of the easiest work choreographed fight ever. Because Askren is all about the concept of entertainment. Like, he's like Chael Sonnen, but not quite Chael Sonnen. Like, he's like, if you were to ask Ben, it'd be like, I want to be Chael Sonnen when I grow up. Like, that would be how you would have to explain Ben Askren to people. He's his own person and his own personality.
Is he in the same stuff as Cowboy Cerrone? Ask him. Is that the same
weight class? No, they were at like 169, I think, when they fought. Cerrone would fucking fight him at any weight class, but
155.
I think 155 would have to be where.
I know that's a coming up match he hits. That's Cowboys fighting.
Is that 155?
Yeah, he's fighting somewhere in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, there's that. They're matching him with May 4th, Saturday May 4th, main card against Inquinta.
Oh,
You talking about?
yeah. That dude's a banger.
Yeah,
that dude's a banger. That'll be a good fight. That'll be someone that'll trade with them. But dude, speaking of Canada, these fuckers. Did you see this? The president, I think of the Philippines,
and
told Canada, you got 1 fucking week to get your trash out of our fucking country.
Yeah,
like, what have they been doing? Just shipping that shit over in containers? It said like they would shipping it over for years.
that shit there?
Yeah, well, like, okay, but here's the thing. I need to hear the other side. I need to hear Le Canada's side of what was the organizational agreement there. Because it's like, if they were shipping it, the people on the receiving end had to have known what was being shipped. There had to be like some commercial thing, like, here, we've got so much land that we don't have habitated that we can use for landfill and disposal. Why don't you ship us your garbage, Canada, and we'll deal with it. And I don't think that was really thought through the whole way. But they say it was shipped over in containers and they just kept shipping it. And he's like, you got a week and we're going to fucking, like, what did he say? Declare war on Canada, which is,
I'm checking this out.
I mean, realistically, declaring war on Canada, that's like going up and pushing like a special needs kid or something down at school and being like, I want your lunch money. It's like, you're probably going to get beat up by the rest of the kids at school that day because you're fucking with the special kid. I mean,
It says here, Manila has filed several diplomatic protests with Canada over tons of waste shipped to the Philippines between 2013 and 14.
Okay, so it was just a year.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they were just shipping that shit over and just be like, no, we're going to send you stuff. We're going to send you guys all this cool stuff from Canada. And they open it up and it's just fucking garbage. And they're like, Canada, you got us. I mean, come on. Like,
this is what the Duarte says. He says, for Canada's garbage, I want a boat prepared. They better pull that thing out or I'll set sail to Canada and dump the garbage there.
Yeah,
wow.
that. Dude, I mean, okay, so this was clearly... but why are we just hearing about it now? Like 5 fucking years later, like.
Because something has to have an earthquake or something in the Philippines, and all that trash is getting and seeping into the river and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe where they dumped it,
Yeah.
it's now getting into the water supplies. Maybe it's becoming a environmental hazard for their people. Maybe some people have been getting sick. There could be all, because you got to figure where they dump it. They had to have dumped it somewhere, probably somewhere they felt was not as populated, or somewhere they felt was an acceptable safe distance from anybody. You know, some Chernobyl shit. Like, I'm sorry your dog has 5 legs, but Chernobyl. So, you know, shit like that. So, sorry Billy's got an eyeball in his fucking forehead, but, you know, Chernobyl. So, it only happened for a year. So we have to assume that it was sent. It had to have been part of some business deal that went south.
I think he was upset because he says briefs after being briefed on the earthquake that struck the Philippines on Monday.
Okay.
This is just something that happened on April 24th, which day?
Yeah.
Just a Monday. And they were saying that to get it out, there was some kind of deal with, like, it's a huge money. I saw the amount. Last year, Duarte reported the military to $233 million deal to buy 16 columns from Canada after Ottawa expressed concern they can use to fight. Oh, this exchange money for garbage.
Yeah.
For military equipment.
Yeah. Oh, so some kind of garbage arms deal that went fucking south.
Yeah.
God, I love this fucking planet. I love it. We are so fucked as a society, people. Seriously. Aliens are going to come in. They're going to just... And they're going to land, and they're going to look at us, and they're going to be like, we're going to destroy all you motherfuckers. Like, they're just going to go, you're going to be our slaves forever. Like, dude, come on. That's
so anyway, let's get away. Let's talk about, since you were a superhero kind of thing.
You're damn right.
Kind of movie kind of thing.
Don't fucking spoil it for me.
I'm not spoiling. I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
But
I will fucking jump kick you in the head.
I've heard there's a pirate version, but I don't know. I'm not saying shit, but I just heard. That's all.
I know there's a pirated. It's floating around. Like, be fucking warned, people. If you're smart and you don't want to get it spoiled,
die hard,
dude. Like, stay the fuck away from like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like YouTube. Like, I wouldn't even read the title. If I saw comic book characters like an Iron Man or something on like a YouTube video, I don't even read the fucking title. Like, I don't want to read it because it's just say it in the title.
But they're making 100 million something already overseas.
No shit.
Overseas, $100 million.
That's got to be the Hong Kong China market where they're huge in the China market.
I've heard quote unquote some Chinese who are crying. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I like
this.
RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. was quoted in saying that the last 8 minutes of the movie are the best in MCU history, and he was quoted in saying something like, to have that many superheroes in one scene. At first, my brain jumped to that scene in the Infinity Gauntlet series in the comics where everybody jumps on them. You've got Wolverine, Magneto, Silver Strike, like every fucking body. So I'm thinking, well, okay, that could have been cool. But then I instantly thought, no, that's not it. To have that many actors that the MCU actually has rights to right now, you're not going to see the X-Men show up. You're not going to see guys like Silver Surfer, Adam Warlock, all that stuff. What you will see, though, is either market a wedding, which is meh, a funeral. The last fucking 8 minutes in that movie, I swear to God, are going to involve a funeral. We've all been thinking about that stuff anyway, like who's going to bite it? Like, who's going to bite it in the MCU? We already know they're going to bite it. Who and how many? So I think that's going to be why RDJ was saying it's going to be like the best 8 minutes, because you're going to have that real emotional scene.
So you got your tickets.
Oh, dude, we're going, what are we going, Friday morning at 11? Like, dude, I bought them the fucking day they went on sale, like 2 weeks ago. Advanced ticket sale. I bought them. I bought them up. Fuck that if I'm going to miss it. I'm bummed out that I can't see it Thursday night, but I have to work. Job got in the way of my comic book experience. So I got tickets to the 11 a.m. show on Friday. Thursday night, don't fucking text me, nothing. I'm going to avoid Facebook. I'm going to be a ghost.
You know there are people are going to that social media, people are going to blow it up.
Oh, yeah, dude. People are already, dude. People.
They just had the premiere.
Human nature.
Right? They had the premiere and everyone's going crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's human nature for people. Like, could you imagine being in line for Star Wars and this dude just walks out and goes, fucking Darth Vader's his dad. Suck it. Like, people existed back then. So it's like, what are you going to do? But yeah, I will definitely be seeing it. I will see it Friday morning. If you ruin it for me, I will hunt you down and hurt you.
So anything else going on with the MMA? How about the local fights here?
We've got 559 fights. Those guys are coming up. It's not this weekend, is it? Is it this week? The 18th. Jeremy Lukow, 559 fights are going down in Fresno or Hanford? Fresno.
I think it's in, let me check it. Let me just make sure. I think maybe it is.
Because I just saw a picture of it. Jeremy was promoting that. So, but if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, guys, 559 fights, they are like into the 70s as far as organizational fights go. So just
Rainbow Ballroom.
Rainbow Ballroom. So that's Fresno. That's going on the 18th of May. Okay, so Rainbow Ballroom, local Fresno guys. If you've got to have local guys on it, go and support your guys. Don't be one of those people that's like, oh, I'm a fan now. Get the fuck off the bandwagon, man. Get on their train now. Support your guys. If they believe in themselves and they surround themselves by people who also believe in the same common goal they do, they will feel better about their actions. They'll feel better about their training. They're fighting. They'll have more self-confidence, and they'll do better. You'd be surprised how far fan support goes as far as helping to motivate your fighter, your local guy that you like. Remember, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Chuck Liddell, they were all local guys at one level or another. So take your time, go out, support your local fights. Check out the 559 fights coming up on May 18th. Help out, Jeremy. He's really He's not doing it for money, guys. He does it because he has a plan, he has a belief, he has a diagram, all this stuff, and he just wants to see these guys succeed. And so he's just trying to give them a platform, help him support that platform, guys. That's about it, man.
Okay, we got about maybe a couple 8 minutes left.
Oh,
Anything
good.
else you just say?
So, plug time. So I'll spit it out for 5 minutes. So, couple things. Do you play poker? Do you play video games? Well, Club One Casino's got you guys covered on that. This weekend, we've got a $60,000 guaranteed prize pool, no limit hold'em tournament going on. Starts Thursday. Okay, you've got 3 chances to get in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday if you want to advance. It's a multi-day tournament. Day 1 payouts for those of you that live out of town. And we have satellites, $65 satellite. What's today? It's Wednesday, so tonight's the last satellite. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning, you'll have morning satellites. Last of those will be $65. So you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The flights will be at night. Great opportunity, multi-day event. Day 1 payouts is the biggest thing there, guys. Remember, if you make it to day 2, you're automatically in the money. So if you live in like Bakersfield, Manteca, Turlock, Modesto, whatever, come on down. You bust out on hand number 1. You don't have to grind it out. Day 2, I'll pay you money. It's that simple, guys. And for you video game players, NBA 2K19, man, we're doing a tournament for that this weekend. I want to say Saturday. Is it Saturday? It's either Friday or Saturday. I'll have to look at the poster and find out. But it's either Friday or Saturday. It's Friday, April 26th at Club One Casino in the Event Center. NBA 2K19. It's got a $750 prize pool, which doesn't sound like a not to poker players, but for video game guys, you guys know that's an actual decent amount of prize pool for the buy-in. So come on down, all ages. You can be 2, you could be 22. It doesn't matter. Come on down. NBA 2K season's coming. Esports. It's not just shooters down at Club One. So we got something for everybody. That's about it, really, as far as self-plugs go for the casino.
Anything else got to say? We got like almost time.
Oh, that's about it, guys.
Is it weird for you to be on your own today?
It is a little. It feels different. It's easy to talk through a lot of your topic coverage and stuff on your own. It's easy to ramble through a lot of that stuff without really thinking about how you're just diarrheaing the stuff out of your mouth so fast. You just burn through content so fast.
See, if you guys don't know who's, I'm actually the guy behind the other side of the mic. You don't usually hear.
Yeah, there's the guy. He's the Wizard of Oz, the guy that is heard but not seen kind of thing sometimes. But now you get to hear him. Now you just get to see his work, but now you get to hear him. But no, that's it. It was fun. Rich hit me up earlier yesterday and was like, "Hey, you could run in solo. I got the side project training stuff he's got to take care of." I was like, "Yeah, totally." And he hit me up today. He was like, "So you got content, this and this and this and this." And I was like, "Bro, relax. We got it. Got you. It's awesome. Everybody loves this show. It's great the way it is. It's a good product as it is. Every once in a while, change is fun. It's good. Keeps us on our toes. Get to have fun."
Because you like movies, I like movies. I'm in the movie business. I know you. You were talking about the Will Smith.
Yeah, Gemini Man, dude, that looks fucking good. It's. I'm not a huge Will Smith fan, but it looks good from a new concept. Like, I don't want to spoil it for you. They'll spoil it in the trailer. If you watch a trailer for Gemini Man, you'll get the concept of the movie. But as a whole, it's just it's different. It's something that you haven't seen before, and I think it'll be really cool. I like how when they take actors like what they did with Jeff Bridges and the Tron sequel, they will take an older actor and make them look younger, and they just use facial doubles, which is really cool to see with that. So we get to see that in this movie.
So like I'm in the film world, so you're a UFC guy. So how do you think about this? Half these guys are UFC fighters are in the movies now.
Dude, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You've got an influx of guys who don't necessarily know the movie world and how fight scenes have to go. It's not just you know how to fight so you can do a fight scene. Fuck no, dude. I've done fight scenes before for a film on web series. It's very different. It's just the fact that they have the advantage because you can pretty much do your own stunts to an extent. I mean, your guys are tougher than average. They'll say, "Hey, pick me up and really slam me. Let's make this look real." Like, it's okay for us. So it's a double-edged sword, really.
Without hurting the other folks, right? You got who else? Like Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey's done it. I think Conor wants to do it. You've had
Andrew Silva. There's the one I see. Andrew Silva's coming out.
He's doing those. Frank Trigg. Frank Trigg is actually a stuntman. Like, he went from UFC and got into movies, and he's actually like big time stunt guy now. He did stuff on like Hawaii Five-0. I think he's the homeboys with guys that have worked on Spartacus. He's done some cool shit. So taking fighters and sticking them in an industry where exciting, adrenaline going shit is, we're going to pay you for that. They're like, sure, sign me up.
We got Randy Couture.
Couture's went in. He was in the Expendables. Chuck Norris, Jet Li. I mean, you got a lot of martial arts guys that have transitioned over to that, and they'll be able to explain to you how different fight choreography is versus just saying, oh, you know how to fight. That doesn't mean you know how to choreograph fight. It's fucking such a different world.
So you are going to get into action.
Oh yeah, dude, hell yeah, I'm fucking down. I'm down. Like I said, I did that web series before. I'm fucking down. I would love to do that. A game show is my dream job. So to go and do like a choreographed scene and something, dude, that'd be awesome. I'd be totally down with that. That'd be fun.
You guys just stay tuned because he is going to be doing.
Oh, see, this guy knows me.
I can't tell you what it is, but he's going to.
See, KP knows me.
Because I'm going to get him into it.
KP were going to kidnap me. He would just have to promise me a role in a film. He'd be like, now just get in the van. Don't ask any questions. And I'd be like, dude, yes.
So we got about 10 seconds. Anything else you got to say to the audience?
Nah, guys, just remember, thanks for tuning in. Keep always tuning in, guys. Tell your friends, share it, hit the like button, subscribe if it's on YouTube. Check us out every week, guys. We got the radio station shuts on Tuesday night. We got the Kick-Ass Podcast on Wednesday. And remember, guys, thumbs up for Richie. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.